Hello guys, how are you doing? My name is Winfred and you're welcome to my channel where it's all about easy meals at home. Today is not any different. We are going to be making a beef and mushroom sauce. Yes, you heard me right, beef and oyster mushroom sauce. My mushrooms are dried, but I'll show you how I get them softened and then use them to make such a sumptuous meal. So join me, let us get cooking. Now these are my dried up oyster mushrooms. I told you I'll be making many meals out of my oysters that I harvested. Now I had these stripped and then sun dried and they came out like this. You can check out my videos when I was harvesting or videos when I've been making sauces out of my oyster mushrooms. There are different ways you can use them and have such sumptuous meals. Now these are sun dried, but you can get a container with water and then soak them in water like this. These ones have been sitting for about 30 minutes and you can see they are now softer, but they have a rubbery way to them. So now I leave them soaking and then I get to my meat. Now this is the meat that I'm going to be using. I already cut it up into strips like this. This is typical of Mediterranean meals. Most of their meat is cut into strips simply because they love strip meats like this. They're appetizing and they cook easily. Now I already cut up my meat. I cut up my tomatoes. These are about two medium tomatoes and 5 cloves of garlic, which gave me this. I've also got 1 carrot that I cut up to a medium chunk simply because I want them seen in my beef, oyster and mushrooms and beef sauce. Now also I've got some green bell peppers that I'll use. This is just 1 green bell pepper and 1 big purple onion. Now when it gets to the spices, I've got with me a spoon of okra powder. I'm going to use this simply because I need it for the thickening of my sauce. I've got with me 3 cardamom pods. Now I'm using cardamoms because they are nutritive. You should check out my videos and see the properties that are in cardamoms. That's why I'm using them. And I'm also going to use 2 cloves. These ones are also very nutritive. That's a whole new explanation. So check out my video on uses of cloves. You see the properties and use them more when you're cooking. I'm also going to use a teaspoon of turmeric powder, a teaspoon of curry. This is hot chili, red chili powder, and this is oregano, which I'm going to use half a teaspoon, and then a tablespoon of curry powder. To that I'll add some salt and some little soy sauce. But let us get cooking. Now I've put 3 tablespoons of oil, and to that I'll add the onions. I'll also add our 3 pods of cardamom seeds and then the 2 cloves. To that I'll also add carrots and give this a head start of about 2 minutes to cook, covered. Now these have been on for about 2 minutes and time for me to add the garlic. I'm going to add the garlic and add the tomatoes as well. Cook these until the tomatoes have softened. Our tomatoes have softened, time for me to add the meat. Now the thing is, if you're going to cook this Mediterranean kind of meat or this kind of style, and you put the meat first, it will toughen if it goes in direct. So you put it after, and you can even add a little bit of water just to keep it from burning. But if you've used enough tomatoes, your meat should turn to a nice color easily, minus hardening. Now I'm also going to add, after it has changed color, I'm going to add some bit of soy sauce and continue mixing until I see a nice color. So that means it's going to cook until it has all changed and you don't see the redness on there. Now time for me to add some salt. I'm using lake salt, so if you see me putting quite an amount, it's because it's lake salt. And then you go on and stir. See, you can see that the redness has improved in the meat and it's now looking different. I'm going to add some bit of soy sauce and then introduce spices as well. Now this is about a teaspoon of soy sauce. And then you go on and mix still. Now time for me to introduce the mushrooms. Water, so I'll just add them in there and introduce also our spices. These will cook on low heat until your meat is softened enough. Those of you who like your meat medium rare, you can have it medium rare, but I want mine nice and ready. So to this I'm adding the turmeric, a teaspoon, a half a teaspoon of red chili powder, and then I'm putting oregano, half a teaspoon, and curry powder, a tablespoon. I'm going to add the okra powder. This is for the consistency to change, to keep it thick enough. Now mushrooms taste as good as meat. So when you make this blend of oyster mushrooms with beef, oh my goodness, you will not be able to tell whether it's just meat or it is oyster mushrooms with beef. It will be so tasty, it will be amazing. Now time for me to add some water and let it cook on low heat until it is nice and ready. I'm not going to use water, I'm going to use my mushroom water to add in there and let it cook on low heat. This is about a cup and a half, and I'm going to cover and let it simmer on low heat until the meat is softened and the water is reduced. Now guys, my meat is soft. I will show you when I'm serving how soft it is, but look how brothy it looks. Now remember, I was cooking while it's covered, so time for me to add the green bell peppers and let them simmer for about a minute, and then I'll take off and serve. Now guys, this is how I would serve my oyster mushroom and beef sauce. This guys is flavorful, it's tasty, it's just amazing. I'll show you how soft my meat is so you can see and know. Now guys, this is how soft my meat is. It is easy to tear apart simply because of the strips, and it took a shorter time to get ready. In about 15 minutes my meat got to this, simply because the strips are small. Until next time when we make yet another sumptuous meal, bye bye and take care.